What's up, guys? Happy Monday night. Welcome to the Pre-Scout live every single weeknight on WagerTalk TV. We got a handful of games to go over in the NHL, but just a couple we're going to mention tonight on the show. We'll start getting back to longer shows down the line in the end of the week, probably, and towards next week. But a couple games to look at here tonight and a decent schedule on tap for Tuesday. As far as tonight is concerned, we were one and done. We had the one play, and that was it in the NHL. We had the first period over in the Rangers game, and that's all we needed. One play, and that was it. First period over 1.5, Rangers and Predators, and that one finished 2-1. So we were more than happy to get that as the final in the first period. And I'll tell you what, a little bit frustrated actually because we took the Rangers to get their first home win on Saturday, and the team total. And of course, they lay an egg. They lose 5-0 in that one. And of course, in this one, they come out and easily put up 4 goals. I mean, they made it look very, very easy. So a little frustrating, but we're happy to get on the board. One win. And as much as we're trying to get back on a roll here in the NHL, we still are seeing the board pretty well with some of these bets. So Timothy, always good to see you. Hope you had a great weekend. All of you guys out there requesting some time stamps. We'll try and get to that later on in some of the shows, especially the shows that I have guests on. We'll try and get some timestamps on. I can promise you guys that 100%. We will do our best to live up to that and do that if we can. So tomorrow we got a handful of games here, guys. We got in rotation order: Toronto, Boston, Dallas, Ottawa, Washington, Carolina, LA, Montreal, Calgary, St. Louis, San Jose, Minnesota, Anaheim, Colorado, and Winnipeg taking on Vancouver. If we can here, guys, we might as well pull up oddslogic.com as we usually do. Take a look at some of these opening numbers and kind of give our thoughts really quick. And I'll just say this here, looking at these numbers for tomorrow, starting things off with the Toronto versus Boston one. You know, everybody talks about the rapid revenge, and we talk about getting the chance to right your wrongs right away. Well, it's now been 2 in a row for the Toronto Maple Leafs where they have lost a game in which they were fully in control of. And when I say fully in control of, I don't mean they were playing better hockey. I mean that they had the lead and they just weren't able to protect it. Their loss against Carolina, they gave up 2 goals in the third period. But realistically, Carolina dominated the possession for most of that game, dominated the expected goals for a lot of that game. So this is going to be a very interesting spot here. And I'll tell you what, I think if you're the Toronto Maple Leafs, you're probably very happy that you get to play the Boston Bruins this fast. And quite honestly here, guys, after playing one game at home against the Bees, and then playing immediately the next night, second half of a back-to-back Sunday night against the Hurricanes, they're not going to be happy whatsoever. So very interested to see which way this Toronto number moves. I mean, we got to say here, guys, this is probably, you know, if I told you guys with the rosters that these two teams had, we were going to be getting minus 135 as the consensus price on the Maple Leafs in TD Garden on the road, you'd probably be interested in playing the Maple Leafs here. I mean, if someone told me that Morgan Geekie would have close to 11 goals on the season, I wouldn't believe you. But I'm very interested to see. Like, guys, we're seeing 6.5 here as the total in this one. I'm very tempted by the under. You know, I think there could be some value on Toronto, but very, very tempted by the under. As you see, the opener had the under 6.5 at minus 127. You look across the board at most spots here, you can get minus 116. Minus 120, minus 120. So best spot to go, Pinnacle at minus 116. But I think that's the way to go here, guys, is there's going to be a huge defensive effort out of this Maple Leafs team. And as Timothy is saying about Boston's overachieving, maybe Boston is overachieving, but they're specifically overachieving offensively. So maybe we see kind of more of a chess match. Everyone says that when two teams play each other, you know, the familiarity could lead to goals. But the way I look at it is the first game was high scoring. You get to watch some film. You get to go over things. And the funny thing is the Bruins haven't even played another game since then, but the Maple Leafs have played. and they got a bad taste in their mouth. They're not going to be happy. Saturday, Sunday, break on Monday, and then they're back on Tuesday. They won't be too happy. Tell me why Edmonton isn't shooting the damn puck. Timothy, I'll tell you. I'm trying to learn as this season goes from what this season has told me. And what this season has told me is that specifically, I'm not trying to catch the falling knife. And more importantly, I'm not trying to get in front of teams that love to play spoiler like the Blue Jackets do. It seems to me right now the Edmonton Oilers are going back to the old Edmonton Oilers that they used to be, where if it's not McDavid, if it's not Draisaitl, it's nobody else. And before I went live on this show, I was watching the game, and I think between the two players, they had one shot on goal, Draisaitl and McDavid. That's just not good enough. That's just not good enough. And those guys went to the Stanley Cup Finals back-to-back years. Maybe the motivation level isn't the same. And then you've got a goalie issue. I'm sorry. I've defended Skinner, but he's not the goalie to win these guys a cup. They've got defensive issues, but yeah, Timothy, it's weird, man. What's up, Leg Show? Yeah. 230 of you guys here watching. I appreciate you guys being here, whether you come from WagerTalk, whether you came from my X account, whether you came from YouTube, whether you're watching it afterwards. I appreciate you guys for being here. Pocket Surprise chiming in to say pass to 4+ shots on goal, -128 at FanDuel right now. He shot 7 against Toronto on Saturday night. He turns up for Toronto. I agree. That was one of the picks that I did get right on my Friday night show with Perlos, that Boston gets up to play the Maple Leafs. Teams get up to play the Toronto Maple Leafs. I know that. They've had a target on their back for a long time, that Maple Leafs team. So, but I'll tell you what, guys, I lean towards the under. Overnight. I wouldn't be shocked to see some 6s overnight. We'll see what ends up happening, though. But I do lean towards the under when it comes to that. So we'll see. We'll see what we're looking at here. But guys, when I look at this board overall, and I'm looking at some of the numbers here, Dallas, Carolina, Minnesota, you've got some teams that are pretty big favorites here. And I'll tell you what, like I talked about that under that I like in the Boston-Toronto game. Let's go to another under that I like here, guys, for tomorrow. And this might be hard to admit and hard to look at. This is one that I've got my eye on here. San Jose, Minnesota, 61-62 in rotation, under 6.5. I lean towards Minnesota, but I lean towards the under. I think Minnesota correlates with the under here, guys. This team's looking to win a couple in a row at home. This Minnesota team plays their best hockey when they play at home. And I think they are going to get the job done against San Jose. San Jose, though, is one of those teams right now, kind of like Chicago even. The Blue Jackets we're talking about right now that are playing against the Oilers. The Anaheim Ducks even though the Ducks are top of their division, they're those teams that keep cashing underdog tickets. So it's tough. Like, look at the price that was hung as the opener here. -220 for Minnesota. That's a pretty big price. That's a pretty big price for an opening number for this Minnesota team. But I guess that goes to show what the books truly do believe about this team. But guys, I think that's another under that I look at here. We saw San Jose play that 3-1 game against the Florida Panthers. Askarov was standing on his head. Both goalies have actually been pretty good for San Jose, but overall, I'm looking towards the under 6.5. Maybe we'll find a way to play Minnesota, but when it ultimately comes down to it, I like the under much more. But I also do lean towards Minnesota. We'll just see. Wow, I get a message. Edmonton is pathetic. 3-1. This is why I couldn't take Edmonton tonight. And Carm had a great point on the show today on Puck Time. He said, would the same people that are taking Edmonton today want to take Edmonton if they lost 2-1, or are those people only taking Edmonton because they lost 9-2 or whatever the score was? And how much does that change the fact that they got their asses kicked? That's the question you have to ask yourself. If you're taking Edmonton tonight, how much does it really affect you? The fact that they're just in a massive bounce back spot. Oh, good to see, Perlo. Good to see. I'm all over CBJ. I love to see that. Love to see that. Got to take the Sharks. Perlo, I lean towards the under in that one. So we'll see. The problem is the books are loving Minnesota here. I mean, we're going to see some regression at some point from San Jose because but I'll tell you, I watched their game Friday night. Man, they looked good. This team looks good. And one thing I got to say about them that when I watched, I was pretty impressed with them defensively. So we're going to see. We're going to see if this team can keep on doing it and keep impressing us that way. But yeah, the Sharks are fast. They were fun to watch. Perlo, I'm not going to lie to you. That was probably the longest I've spent this season watching a San Jose Sharks game. But I was really impressed with it. I was really impressed. I'll tell you guys, the line with the Montreal and LA game is kind of concerning for me. You know, that minus 120, minus 110 pick at some spots, they're almost indicating the LA are favorites, on a neutral site. We'll see. Montreal probably played their best game of the season so far on Saturday night against Utah. LA's been getting it together, that's for sure. So interested to see how that one moves overnight. We have seen already a lot of the 5.5s get picked off. If you look now, FanDuel has minus 130, DraftKings 135. So it's hard to hang a 5.5 in a Montreal Canadiens game right now. I would say this Canadiens team is scoring, and they're also being involved in higher scoring games. So we'll see when it comes to that. Dallas and Ottawa is interesting. This Ottawa team has picked up a point, at least a point, in 5 straight games. But when you look at that as well, you have to consider, okay, there were some overtime losses. There were some defensive lapses. And I'll tell you, like, overall, when I look at this team, when I look at this Ottawa Senators team, they are creating chances right now. They are creating chances. But when I saw this Dallas Stars team and the schedule that they were on, I feel like this kind of bodes pretty well for them because we've seen a lot of up and down from them. We've seen kind of win one, lose one, win one, lose one, play a good game, play a bad game, play a good game, play a bad game. And if you look at that number, minus 117, it's a little bit weird, and it kind of has me intrigued. And actually, you got one book minus 130 for Dallas. So I think they could be a play, this Dallas team. And looking at the Senators, look, again, they've got to be feeling pretty good about themselves. They've been playing some pretty good hockey. They took care of the Mammoth on a Sunday night. They took care of the Flyers on Saturday. But one thing I have to say about this Senators team, and this is just from what I've seen over the past 2 weeks, a lot of the teams that they've beat are teams that they probably should beat. And we can't forget about that loss 7-3 against the Blackhawks. Don't forget about that one. So I'm very interested in that one, but I do lean towards the Dallas side. That's another one that I'm kind of interested in watching overnight. Guys, so far, I'm going to have just one 4% best bet up for tomorrow in the NHL for Tuesday night. 4% best bet. You can get it right here, wt.buzz/AM. It's going to be for $5. My best bet for $5 in the NHL. We won tonight in college basketball. We won tonight in the NHL, and we've got some NFL plays pending. So we'll see how we can do with those. Andrew, Habs fan, you should know what the best bet is already. Go ahead and make the call on the Habs tomorrow. Pockets, one of the funny things about this being my favorite team is maybe on a nightly basis, I'm having trouble believing it because I watched such horrible hockey for so long that I'm having trouble believing that this team has gotten that much better. I talked about it in the offseason. They were going to be more of a total team. But yeah, maybe I do have to start getting in on this team a lot more. Maybe that is the case. Calgary and St. Louis. Now, guys, when you look at this Blues team, and we've talked about this on the show here this season so far. Is this a team that should start selling off some guys? Is this a team that has no direction? Montgomery did a great job when he came in, and then the spark kind of went away. But when it comes down to it, I feel like this team is just almost lacking that ability to create big plays, to create high scoring chances. And when I look at this number here, St. Louis minus 156 goes down to 145 at Pinnacle. This is one of those ones here where I look at it, and the only reason I'd be interested in playing St. Louis is because they're playing a team that got shut out in back-to-back games. But, you know, the quote-unquote system play has really come back into play after it lost a couple times. And a lot of times it was losing. It was losing because of the New York Rangers. So not only have the Flames, you know, did the Flames get shut out in their last game, they were shut out in their game before that. 4-0 loss to the Blackhawks, and then a 2-0 loss to the Wild. So how about that for a weekend for this Calgary Flames team? You lose on Friday to a team like the Hawks, and then the Wild. What worse of a team to have to bounce back against than the Minnesota Wild that will just suffocate you and trap you, especially when they're playing at home? Very, very interested to see what happens with that one. Got a lot of you guys wondering, and people were actually asking me earlier today if I was going to be talking about the Colorado and Anaheim game. Opening number minus 229 total at 6.5 in this one. Where is this here? If I go to moneypuck.com, guys, as you know I like to do. Yeah, Perlo, lean Flames. Lean Flames. Just back-to-back shutouts. Kind of interesting, but kind of looking at towards the over as well. Looking at the expected goal differential, guys. All right. And this is going to tell us a lot. The expected goal differential. So everybody watching right now, and hopefully you're still with me 17 minutes in. I know it's tough when it's just one person talking the whole time. If you're still with me, I appreciate it. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, all that good stuff. You don't want to hear it. Thanks for being here. The Colorado Avalanche have the number one expected goal differential on the season. They are 13.76 positive expected goal differential on the season. Before I tell you guys, ask yourselves where you think Anaheim is on that list. Where do you think Anaheim is on the expected goal differential category? And I feel like that will tell you a lot of what we need to know about Anaheim. Because both these teams are playing very well right now. Right now, if someone just started watching hockey this year and they became a supporter of the Ducks, you would think this team is unbelievable. One of the best teams ever. Guys, the Anaheim Ducks expected goal differential on the season is minus 3.2. They rank 25th in the league in expected goal differential. 25th in the league. They are bailed out by goaltending. They are bailed out by hot goal scorers. They are bailed out by power play goals. But according to these numbers, the Avalanche aren't bailed out by anything. They're not bailed out by anything. And if you look at the expected goals for, Anaheim's up there, but expected goals against, they're also the sixth highest. So I just think this is going to be one of those games defensively that Anaheim might struggle. Now, albeit looking at the Avalanche, you could very well see them come into this one feeling pretty proud of themselves. They've won 5 of their last 6 games. They put up an 8-piece against the Devils. They put up a 9-piece against the Oilers. And I do respect the back-to-back effort for this Avalanche team. 9 goals against the Oilers. It would have been very, very easy for them against the Canucks to just lay back and relax. But they still won 5-4 in overtime. Perlo says Quenneville teams are always like that. Well, Perlo, I mean, Quenneville had, what's his name? Corey Crawford. But now he's got Lucas Dostal and some great goaltending overall. But how long does a team get bailed out by good goaltending? That's my question. How long does a team get bailed out by good? But then again, the talent level of this Anaheim team is so good that when you look at the numbers and when you want to take a look at some information here, Perlo, when you were on with me, you talked about a lot of first period plays. Plus a half in the first period is minus 140. Money line in the first period is plus 160. If I were to take a look at Anaheim in some way, it would be maybe some first period action. We don't bet a lot of these guys, but listen to this. The over 1.5 goals in the first period is minus 154. But yet both teams to score in the first period is plus 145. I find that very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. But overall, I do kind of think that Anaheim is overachieving. And when they step up in class against a team like Colorado on the road, it's going to be a little bit tougher for them. But they've been scoring goals, so it's a little bit hard to want to go against them. There's no doubt about that. Winnipeg, Vancouver, I'll tell you, this Vancouver team, even when they score goals, they find ways to lose games. You know, it's very difficult to watch this team. I kind of look towards the under in this one as well. I think Vancouver off a high-scoring game, a high-scoring loss, maybe this one turns into more of a defensive game. And Columbus and Seattle, this is one of those situations here, guys, where if you decided to stay off the Edmonton game today, or if you decided to fade the Edmonton Oilers, I think that is a prime betting spot on the Seattle Kraken tomorrow night. Perlo, what do you think here if you're with me? I think it's a prime opportunity, guys, late night action to bet on the Seattle Kraken, 10 o'clock start, 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern start for Seattle to get going. I think it's a good spot for them. So especially if you stayed off, if you did not take the Oilers tonight, I think it's a good opportunity. And this Kraken team, they lost 6-1 against the Sharks. They lost to the Stars. They lost to the Rangers. They lost to the Canadiens. Who's this team beat lately? The Blues, the Blackhawks. This team is going to be dialed in. And the second half of back-to-back, it's like me and Perlo were talking about and me and Carm talk about. It's not an automatic fade of a team, always. You don't always fade a team second half of back-to-back. But this particular situation could be a very good opportunity to fade a team in the second half of a back-to-back. So let's do it, guys. Let's lock in the Seattle Kraken. I think it's a good spot for them. So, guys, tomorrow night's going to be a great show. I got a couple good games on Wednesday, but we've got a guest lined up. And Wednesday, we're going to try and break down every single game on Thursday. Every single game on Thursday. So get ready for that. We'll try and go in more detail and get to every single game on Thursday. But as I mentioned, tomorrow is $5 Tuesday. If you guys have never hopped on board with me, I will take a look at a best bet, but also have free plays at my page, wt.buzz. But if you've never hopped on board, I'll have a best bet. I'll be taking a look at one play that I like a bit more than the others right here, wt.buzz/am, $5, 4% play. Today's play was pretty good, over 1.5 goals, first period, Rangers, Preds, and we'll try and keep things going. So not sure how many we'll have tomorrow. We got at least one 4% play. We're going to try and make this a really good week. So, hey, thanks for watching, guys. Let's try and get over 100 likes. If you're watching this show and you have not seen us over 100 likes, try and get us there. That's the goal for today's show, 100 likes. And hey, if you want to comment, let me know again what game you want me to talk about for the next day. I appreciate that. We'll see you guys next time. Puck time, 11 a.m. Eastern, myself and Carmine. Don't forget about it. We'll see you guys next time.